flag. Ahoy there, matey. Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-888-88-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, and Barry, the boater, rounding out the cruise. We navigate the latest boating news and information and prepare to spring forward as the clocks change tonight, 2 a.m. or actually tomorrow, 2 a.m.? I hate this.
Can we just get away from this stuff?
I wish we could. I wish we would
this
stop
was
it.
over.
Yeah.
They promised.
But
For the
we
love
still
of Pete.
have to deal with it. And
Come on, Congress.
because of this, we're going to lose, an hour of daylight to boat in the afternoon, right, Barry? Do I got it right?
Yeah. Or basically, when I woke up at 5 this morning, it'll be 4 o'clock tomorrow. No, it'll be 6 o'clock, which means I got to wake up at 4 o'clock.
Time will be.
Don't fall into the trap.
Well, just plan accordingly. Just know you're going to have an hour less of daylight in the afternoon or in the evening. It's going to get darker.
No, you're going to have more light in the afternoon.
You have more light.
More light? Okay,
Yes.
Whatever. Take it, reverse it. I don't care. It's just
Because it's spring
so
planting
confusing.
season, and we're all farmers, and our whole
when you-
economy is based on agriculture.
When you go out tomorrow, it will not be light out in the morning.
Wait,
It'll
hold
still
on.
be dark.
Well, if you look at it that way, then maybe it could play it to an advantage then for boaters because we'd have an extra hour of daylight.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why Florida's
But Patrick just said it was all about the farmers, but maybe we can spin this in a positive way.
That's
farming's
why
all
we had it. Was
automated.
all about the farmers.
I
all
know, but
about
it could
the
be all about the
agriculture.
boaters now. Flip it.
Well, that's one of the stories.
Well, I'm
behind
just
it.
trying to, the cup is half full type of approach.
Why
with
don't they
this.
just leave it in one direction or the other so we don't have to go around and change all 50 clocks?
Yeah, you have 50 in your.
I only have about 10,
Okay.
but I do like clocks, so they're all over the place.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Yeah.
To be clear, he said clocks.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
they go tick, 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 tick,
Ju-
tick.
Just
Just
leave it
wanted to make
lie.
sure.
I
Yep.
know where you're going, and you shouldn't go there. Anyway, moving on to other stories.
Wait a
that
minute.
are-
Explain to me. I don't
No,
understand
don't.
this.
Just stop.
Okay, don't explain it to me.
Anyway, so there's been there's some news that we have to navigate for, and actually, I want to talk about this. I'm gonna lead the first story for Captain
Oh.
Patrick because I'm pretty aware of this. I was planning to go watch the eclipse. It's coming up. What is it? April 9th, I believe. It's a Monday. And for a big part of the U.S., if you plan it through Texas, up through like Indiana, Michigan, up through
New
Buffalo,
York.
yeah, it goes right up the
Yeah.
the main viewing area is going to be right up through the middle of the U.S. And
Right.
I was planning to go watch it, but I ended up having a conflict. I got to be somewhere
You got to work.
Monday. Yeah. So
Oh,
I'm going to
wow.
miss it. I had hotel accommodations. I'd planned this way out in advance because this eclipse coming up is a pretty big deal. I mean, I don't know if you guys are that in tune with it, but it's like a once in a lifetime type of eclipse opportunity that we have in the USA. Did you know this, Barry, or is this news to you?
No.
Okay,
No.
so he's been living under a rock. What about you,
That's-
Patrick?
I did know about the eclipse, yes.
Yeah, but you didn't realize how rare this particular one is going to be. This is like a
I'm
once in a
just going to
lifetime
take your
one.
hotel room and I'll be there.
No, I didn't tell you where I was going, so it's already been sold.
I'll speak to the real boss in that house.
Yeah, okay. What about you, Patrick? Did you know how big of a deal this is, or you don't care?
I don't care.
Okay, well, I
You
figured
tell
that
by
much.
his look.
Right. But it is kind of a big deal. I mean, just so you know. I mean, this is when it comes to the scale of eclipses, this is like a once in a lifetime type of thing for folks in the USA.
This is
it
the
is.
best eclipse we've ever had.
No, it
Stop.
is.
No, don't
Don't go there. I know.
Okay,
I
you
know.
guys, if you argue with me on this, you guys are looking like idiots. You look
No,
it
I'm
up,
not
Google
arguing
it.
with you.
It is a big deal. Trust me.
if Google
And some
says
people,
so, it is.
some people, make a big deal about this from the standpoint, like not only is it once in a lifetime, it's life changing if they witness these things, and this is one of those ones where if you go and you view it in the right place, when we have the total eclipse, the crickets start playing. I mean, because they're
Right.
confused, and it's a big mess. It's a whole
Wasn't
thing.
that a big band in the 60s? But you have to remember to wear those dark glasses.
Well, you should. There's various ways to protect
then it'll
yourself,
be,
but
yeah, I mean, it's either that or the eclipse will be something special for you as you go to the optometrist.
well, yeah, you're not supposed
Yeah.
to look at it directly or something. I don't know. Google all that stuff and be safe about it. But it is kind of a big deal. And what would be the best way to view the eclipse than
From
being
the
out?
space station.
Well, no, I honestly, one of the best spots and where I was going to go was right into Lake Erie, right off the coast of Cleveland there. That's going to be prime real estate for viewing the eclipse, by the way.
Mhm.
So if you can get your boat out on Lake Erie that Monday, I think it's April 9th, if I'm not mistaken. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon for a couple hours. I mean, it's a great time of day if you can take the day off. Go out on the boat and watch this thing, and that would be the best viewing spot on the planet, I think, for the eclipse coming up.
Can you imagine the size of the raft up if everyone did get together and just every boat from around the country?
Well,
Hey,
it
Lake
is
Erie.
insane if you happen to be in the path of the eclipse that people just pull over the side of the road. I mean, traffic stops for an hour or two. This is going to be a big one. It's going to be a traffic nightmare. That's why you're much better off being on a boat. And that'd be my little tip. What do we have on that? Just other than it's such a big deal there, Patrick. What do you think?
Boy, there's so much to unpack with what you said. I'm not
Well, just
sure
do your
where to
story.
start.
What's the story? I mean, what do you have on it?
First and foremost, anytime that there is an eclipse, it should be a national law, and I'm proposing legislation today that it has to be viewed with Bonnie Tyler. That's first and foremost.
Well, that's yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2, this is not an opportune time of the year to be out on the water up in the Northeast. It's still a little cold because even if it's sunny and say 60 degrees out, water temperature is going to be about 39 degrees. And if you are so unfortunate as to lose your balance while you're out on a boat because you stared up at the eclipse because
But
you
your
think that
glasses
you're
were so-
Superman
Your glasses
without
were so
any
dark.
protection.
Stay on your boat,
Um,
whatever you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got about an hour of survivability in the water, and Greg with his
Look.
0.3 body fat.
That's
probably
pretty
gonna be
much
about
Year
10
round, though,
minutes.
for Lake Erie. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. You do not want to be swimming in that water, even in the summertime. It's way too cold, Patrick. So I mean, if you're boating properly, you shouldn't end up in the water. So there's one
Have you
safety
been listening
tip.
to this show for long, Greg?
Let's see what the weather is like.
But
when
what is the
time
point?
happens.
I mean, is there
Well,
some
here's the
problems for
deal.
boaters if they want to do this, or what?
No, actually, just the opposite. And a lot of people are taking the tack of booking charters. So up in the Rochester, New York area, they're expecting as many as 500,000 people
Yeah.
to flood into that region. And now all of a sudden, these fishing charter boat captains were like, their phones started ringing off the hook.
Right.
And now, for a lot of people, if you're planning on doing something like this, and you were looking at, maybe doing a little fishing while you're out doing the eclipse, or just, look, we don't want to fish, we just want to go out and watch the eclipse. Good luck finding a charter.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we had to reserve a hotel when we first started planning this, literally 6 months out. If you want to be in the main corridor of the path of the eclipse, I mean, yeah, hotels are sold out. And I would imagine that would apply to boat charters. But I agree that, it probably would be the best place to see it would be out on a boat. I mean, especially if you got someone else, doing the work, being the captain, and you just kick back and relax and watch the eclipse from the bow or whatever. I think that'd be a great place
Well,
to see the eclipse.
it's a bit concerning. So first responders who cover Lake Ontario say they were expecting a big increase in boat traffic for the eclipse. And they're really worried about the novice boaters heading out there
Well, of
who aren't
course.
prepared.
So don't be a novice and don't book a charter with a novice boater. But plan. Might be life-changing. Who knows? More coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Pirate!
What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor at the light in the morning?
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. Give you a few tips on how to plan for the upcoming eclipse. And maybe you didn't realize, maybe you're like Patrick and Barry, didn't really give a rat's ass. But now Barry's thinking like, wait a minute, maybe I can take my boat out there and charter it out and make some money.
No,
look, there's probably not a bigger, and don't take this the wrong way, Barry, nerd on this show than Barry, just because of his love for all things sci-fi and electronics and things like that.
Yeah,
Exploding Rockets.
Yeah,
okay.
Which was also the name of my punk band in high school. And he doesn't care.
Well,
you know why?
Why?
Because it's stupid.
Okay.
It's stupid.
That's the typical spin we get from Captain Patrick.
You want it? Look, I could do an eclipse right now. Let me close my eyes.
Oh, no.
The eclipse is here. Ah!
I don't know. Some people that go to these things claim that they're like life-changing. Because
because they realize they spent $20,000 to go when they could have just closed their eyes,
or they happen to live in the area and just plan accordingly and take their boat out, enjoy the view, and soak it all in. I mean,
I would be going. See, I'm on timeanddate.com. I'm looking at the eclipses for the solar and lunar eclipses for the next 10 years. I'd be going for like number 8 because that one's going to come across Australia. So. And that
what do you mean? You want to go
experience?
You want to go to Australia to see it?
See, now that would be life changing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
then you're going to Ohio is not life changing.
Well, but that's why I said that's why it's such a rare occurrence for us to have this opportunity in the U.S. That's why this is so unique, is that we're getting prime time viewing in the U.S. and it'll probably be I referred things like this is the only time in our lifetime that this is going to happen like this. So
there's going to be another one in 2044.
But not like this, though.
Okay, Barry. But the point is yes, eclipses are cool.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
I don't know if they're cool or not, but they're...
Here's the more interesting question.
Yeah.
If you're out on the water and it gets dark, do you turn on your anchor light and your running lights and
Yes.
moving?
Yeah, maybe.
I see. Two
If-
different
No,
answers.
not maybe. Yes.
Okay. Well, I would assume you wouldn't be moving while you were
Well,
watching.
then you would have to have an anchor light
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Because it's dark.
Have you met many boaters, Craig? Here's the damn Crips going to be happening. Are we going to anchor, Bob? Hell no.
Okay. I don't think
We're going
they
to be chasing that son of a bitch all the way across the sky.
They don't really talk like that off the coast of
In Ohio?
Cleveland. Yeah.
Oh, the hell they don't.
No, they don't. They don't. I'm from Ohio.
Wait, aren't you from Ohio?
I am.
I
Do I
Barry,
talk like that? No.
No. No.
It took
You're the
12
Valley
years of dictation classes for you
Right.
to get rid of that Ohioan,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kentucky accent of yours.
That was
Right.
the radio school he went to.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you,
whatever you say.
CSB.
Okay. Well, anyway, if you so choose, it could be a kind of
go
a
enjoy it.
cool
yeah,
thing.
Have a
Yeah,
good
why
time.
not? Yeah. And I think
Yeah,
the
why
boat's the
not?
best way to do it. Just
Or just
And
close your
Greg's
eyes.
going to raffle off his hotel room, make a fortune.
Well, I wish I could do that. But I mean, I do think the best way to see it is from a boat. Yeah, and just be aware that's going to be an extremely busy Monday. So if you got any vacation times, and you didn't take into account like the eclipse is happening, and you're living under a rock, you could get caught out there on
Can
the
you
water.
imagine
and
the
be a
backlog
mess.
at the boat ramps as everyone tries
Well,
to
it'd be
launch?
like lobster mini season.
Oh, it
not
would be
realizing it's lobster
1,000
mini
times
season.
worse.
Yeah, and you go out boating that day, and you're like, "Holy crap, what the hell?"
Where'd all these boats come from?
Exactly. And
It's
then
getting
if you didn't know, and then eclipse happens,
Yeah.
you think it's the end of the world, and you're really freaking out now.
No, then it's
Here-
party time.
Here's what it's going to come down to in
Okay.
regard to the recreational boater heading out for the eclipse. The weather.
Yeah.
That's going to be the determining factor.
Well,
For most of them. You're
yeah.
still going to get some of them that are like, nope, we is going. But it's snowing. It's a late snowfall, pal. Doesn't matter, Junior. Damn, the sun's gonna go out and we can't see it anymore. We gotta go find it.
who the hell is he talking to?
He's
My
talking to
God.
anyone that lives in Ohio, I guess.
No,
They get it. They understand.
I have no idea who Patrick is
All right.
referring to when he does that. That's just weird. But whatever. What
you know
else do we got happening in the boating news?
You know what
Let's
else is
just
weird?
Move on.
Talking about cold weather
Yeah.
states for boating, Vermont.
Mhm.
That's cold.
Yeah.
And they are getting ready. Vermont, whose state motto is what, guys?
It's cold here.
We have syrup.
Thank God we're not Ohio, is their
Yeah,
state
right.
motto.
Well, I could have said something worse, but he would have had to bleep me. So
The
Freedom and
maple-
unity.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, the maple syrup capital of the world. I thought. I don't know.
Freedom and unity
All right.
is so bear that in mind
Yeah.
because
Okay.
they are getting ready to implement some of the most restrictive wake boat regulations in the country after nearly a 2-year heated debate because they can use all the heat they can get up there. Rules restricting their use on all but 30 inland water bodies are nearing a crest. So you're talking about they have 73 inland water bodies where motorsports, I don't know why they call it motorsports, 73 lakes where wake sports, water sports are allowed. They are going to ban wake boating on 43 of those 73 lakes in an effort because they're worried about beach erosion, things like that, shoreline erosion, damage to docks, what have you. But now what you're doing is you're concentrating all these boaters to a smaller, they're going to be more concentrated on these 30 lakes than if you had let them stay spread out, which is going to cause what, guys?
what could possibly
Even
go
more
wrong?
damage.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Only
All
to
right.
those areas, though, until they build housing around the lakes, at which time they'll restrict it even more.
Maybe.
Yeah, the new rules would allow the boats to create wakes in zones with 50 contiguous acres. They have to be 500 feet from the shoreline, and the water has to be at least 20 feet deep. There are some people that are not happy. They said it should have gone further, and they wanted a 1,000-foot buffer
Right.
from the shoreline.
And those people have houses on the lake shore, I assume.
Some of them. There was actually one gentleman, and again, this story and all the stories are on worldofboating.com or our World of Boating Facebook page. So if you haven't checked us out and liked us, please do so. Promise that you will not get inundated with a bunch of stories throughout the day. There's maybe one, maybe two, but you can find all these stories and more at those two entities. So this particular story, there was a news report, actual video. And the one guy that they interviewed was like, look, I don't own a boat, but I go out with my neighbors. They do. And we have a great time. And, you know, it shouldn't be like this, shouldn't be as restrictive. This is coming from people who live out on the lake, you know, and what you've got is there's a segment of population that has invested a lot of money in these boats. And now we're getting told they're not even getting grandfathered in. It's like, you will not be allowed to use your boat in a state where the state motto is freedom or unity. You cannot use your boat on your lake. Loser.
Well, that's typical government regulations at their best. More coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 PSI left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Come on, Williams, what are you standing around for here? Get on board.
Get on board. Don't fret. Don't try to.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. All right. So, Vermont, not friendly to motorized watercraft. And by the way, is that new rule for their lakes, has that already went into effect, Patrick, or is that about to happen?
It will be in effect for this upcoming boating season, which approximately, I think, up in Vermont lasts about 15 days.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, it lends itself to, you know, other states are actually looking at Vermont because they are really the first that have crafted such restrictive rules regarding the use of these specialized boats. And I think we're all in agreement that any boat really that's out on a lake, you should maintain a specific distance from the shoreline, but also homeowners should not be allowed to build their docks. And it has happened here in Central Florida because I've been witness to it out on certain area lakes where the homeowner, they finally clear all this land, usually like an orange grove type thing. And next thing you know, there's a McMansion going up out on the water. And all of a sudden there's this extremely long dock that is in violation. And then you see the news story pop up and it's like, yeah, they were fined and, they opted to pay the fine rather than dismantle the dock. So they get to keep the dock. It's like better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. And it's like, no, the law is the law. The rule is the rule. And you're going to have to disassemble this thing. And not only that, we're also going to fine you on top of that. But the ability on some of these lakes, depending on how big they are, as they, with what their size is there, you get these homes, you get the docks out on the water. The more homes, the more docks, the further out the docks extend, shrinks the area of water where these boats can run. And again, by, reducing it, now you're telling these homeowners, a lot of them who don't have trailers for these boats, believe it or not, they buy them. They usually get them delivered, launched at the boat ramp, taken to their house, and that's where they live their life. So if you're like a trailer manufacturer or seller up in Vermont, ka-ching, coming up, you're about to get run over with requests for boat trailers. But now you're going to get all these people that, if they are actually following these new laws, are not going to be able to use their boat. They can use their boats on the lake, but they can't use the boats creating these huge wakes for surfing as such. And again, that's a problem. I bought my boat. I bought it. It's a specific boat. It's already been out here. Why aren't we getting grandfathered in? Could understand that, maybe going forward, anybody that's moving out here and wants to put a boat on the lake, it needs to be within a certain size and a certain weight, and should not be able to create a wake such as my boat can. But I'm already here.
What, on the boat or as the homeowner?
As the homeowner, I'm already here. My boat's already here. I've already established myself. And now you're telling me I can't use my boat out on the lake where I built my home, or purchased my home, built my dock, whatever it is. Because you have to remember, what's one of the biggest revenue creators in the country is boating. It's jobs, it's money, it's taxes coming in, all based off of this economy. And again, I don't think any of us would be in disagreement that steps need to be taken to make sure that we're protecting the environment. But also, I think it's a little unfair to people that have already purchased these boats and already have them established at their homes to say, you're not going to be able to use your boat in the manner in which you intend in the state that is motto is freedom and unity.
Well, this is a classic argument, isn't it? From it's really about keeping the trash out of the area. They don't like the kids that are wakeboarding, creating the wakes and speeding around and stuff like that. So, and they're using the guise of environmental protection of the seashore as an excuse to crack down on them, as opposed to deal with it straight on, which is they just don't want it. It's probably too noisy. It's annoying to them and that kind of thing. You think, Barry?
Well, here's what I was going to say is Biscayne Bay has been having that issue also. There are some commissioners down there that are trying to get these boats that people live on, these liveaboards, gone.
Right.
So what they've done is they've closed down the short-term dockage that they would use. They get in their dinghies, they go over to a dock, they buy their supplies, and they come back on the premise that these boats are damaging the environment there. So they went out, the news crews went out there, and they surveyed, I think it was 35, 40 boats that were in this one area where they anchor, and only 2 had an issue with their sanitation. All the other ones passed with flying colors. So it really was more of, we don't want these boats. Go ahead, Patrick.
Right. And we reported on that story when they closed that ramp, and the county commissioner down there, I forget his name. I've got a name that I can't say it on the air. But he ran on the platform that we will get rid of these boaters.
Yeah, right. One way or another. Right.
Well, that's what he's trying to do for the people that do have these waterfront properties and feel that because they paid so much for it that they should have an unobstructed view. But the water doesn't belong to them. It belongs to everyone.
Not if you're in Miami.
Well, yeah, I understand.
Well, in theory, it's supposed to, but they're always looking for ways to infringe on our boating rights. And this is one of those classic stories.
Well, now they're talking about building an anchorage with the buoys where you would tie up to a buoy there. I guess rent out a spot out in the water. But
look, that's just, there's nothing wrong with an anchorage. But again, prior to, this was never required. You're allowed to, and there's no law stating that we can't anchor in this area. We're not in a navigable body of water. We're not anywhere where boat traffic, where it's prone to that. Right. This is an area that's been designated for that. This is what's been being done since, at least the last 50 years or so. And all because of one county commissioner wanting to cater to a certain sect of the population there, and has made it his mission and is going to use every means available, fair and unfair. The unfair being, we're going to close your dock so that you guys can't get to work.
Mm-hmm.
You live on your boat, you use this dock. This is where you disembark to catch an Uber or to catch the bus or anything like that. And again, these are people that are contributing also. These are people that work for these people that are complaining about their view being obstructed. These are the people that work at the fast food restaurants, that work at the cleaners, that work at, the car wash, or maybe they have much better paying jobs than that.
Yeah, because they can't afford the rent here.
And we're going to take this away from you, and we're going to drive these people out of the area, and then we're not going to have anybody to flip our burgers for us.
What? Oh, boy.
Okay.
Those are the same Ohioans that moved down, and now they adopted that accent.
I don't even know what kind of accent that was. That was just odd.
That was
All
the
right.
Miami of Ohio accent.
Well, there is a Miami
I know.
Ohio. Yeah, I know. All right, so what else?
Well,
is
so
going
there's no recourse. I mean, we're screwed is basically what you're saying, Patrick. Sounds like to me, unless you have an idea.
I think that, for a state that preaches, freedom and unity, I think it's a matter of people that live out on the lakes and have these boats. They have a lot of money. And
Protest.
I think it's time that you need to get people, if you want this stuff to change, you got to get people to run for office that feel the same way you do. You got to back them, got to get them in office, and got to get legislation. But it's got to be legislation that is going to withstand the test of time, because otherwise you just get into this ping pong thing. This party's in, this party's out, legislation's in, legislation's out, and it never actually gets solved. There is a solvable solution. They just haven't found it yet.
There you go. All right. Captain Patrick has spoken. More on the World of Boating next.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I used to have a boat.
You did?
Yeah, she was pretty damn sweet, man. I love that boat.
So why'd you lose it?
Sometimes the things we love aren't long for this world, Bird. Especially when your alcoholic ex-wife gets drunk and falls overboard and drowns.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. Just keep you aware of all the, homeowners with lakefront property gunning for your boating rights. You just got to be aware of it. Get involved. Don't leave it to your politicians. They're not going to represent you, especially if they're not into boating. They could care less. They're going to look at who's going to give them the most money, and a lot of times it is those homeowners on the lakefront properties that have bigger and deeper pockets that they have to cater to, and that could mean that you lose your right to boat. So you just got to be involved. You think, Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, we've moved from the proverbial old man on the lawn. Yeah, you kids get off my lawn to you kids get off my lake, and that ain't cool, man. It ain't cool. Calm down. Don't be so angry. Enjoy watching the young people out there doing their flips and tricks and surfing and stuff like that. And hey, maybe ask them for a boat ride. Maybe you'll find out that you actually enjoy doing something like that, or watching them or taking part in it, and understand the need for, this is how this works and this is how this is created. And again, I think there's a happy medium there. I think there's a better solution other than restricting. I mean, that's really, you took over half the area lakes are now, you cannot use these boats. It's closed to wake sports, water sport boat activities. It's done. And that, again,
It's a
if people
shame.
abide by if people abide by that, they're all going to then congregate on these very few lakes that are now have been deemed usable for that and have to abide by these restrictions there, the distance from shore and everything like that. And it's going to be a mess.
That's right.
Of course, Vermont only has 3 registered boaters, so we'll see how that
I don't
works.
think that's accurate. But regardless, yeah, it doesn't matter where you are in the country or around the world for that matter. If you don't pay attention, the next thing you know, they could limit your boating rights. That's where it comes into you just got to be involved and be aware of what's going on in your local boating community.
You know where else is boating is no longer allowed, Greg?
Where?
Lake Manly. Are you familiar with Lake Manly? No, you're not. Only Barry and I are familiar with Lake Manly.
Which is where?
Death Valley.
Okay.
That's out west somewhere. I think, like
in a
by
valley.
Kansas, maybe.
Yeah.
And Barry's got the longitude latitude already pulled up.
So what's the problem? What's the problem with Lake Manly? Other than that's
Lake
a pretty cool
Manly,
name. Is it being accused of toxic masculinity or something, or what, Barry? Yeah. No, you okay? Well, turn your mic on then first. Yeah.
Sorry about that. The answer was no. It has to do with shrinkage.
Excuse me?
Exactly.
Why?
Well, because Lake Manly formed due to all the torrential rain and stuff like that they had out west. Okay. So for a period of time, it was open and you could boat and stuff like that. And now it is closed to boating. It is rapidly diminishing. Pretty much at this point, you can walk across Lake Manly.
Okay.
So if you were planning, much like observing the upcoming eclipse, if you wanted to see Lake Manly before it disappears, head out to Death Valley, because that's where I want to go. A place with death in its name.
Well, get out there, get out on your boat, get your selfie. Like, here I am on Lake Manly, the last one alive. Last boater alive.
No, you're going to take your boat on the trailer, trail it out to the middle of Lake Manly, sit on that boat, and watch the eclipse.
Okay. No, actually.
So you'll be on your boat in Lake Manly.
You won't be able to see it from there, I don't think.
And you'll be talking like this, son. We went out to Lake Manly, and there wasn't no one out here, no water 7 Avenue there.
The hell is wrong with Patrick today?
He's had way too much fun.
Wow.
So I kind of want to close with this story. So there was video that made the rounds on the internet this week. Sharks circling a boat off of our very own Cocoa Beach. Okay. So, anytime that we have stories involving sharks, and this is coming from, I've been surfing since I was 12. I've been out in the water with sharks. They've never bothered me. I see them, I move away. I don't stay in the area and tempt fate. If I see there, especially if there's bait fish around the area that they're kind of chasing and stuff, there are other places I can go to surf. I paddle in and I walk down the beach, half a mile or a mile or something like that, and get about my business. Not so with these guys out on this charter boat. I'm not going to name the charter boat or the guy or anything like that, because it's they kind of bring it upon themselves. So they've got this redfish hooked, and the sharks start circling. And I think one of the part of the video shows that the fish has already been like eaten in half, and they're still like dangling it over the water. And it's like, oh no, it's attacking the motor on our boat. Oh no, this is crazy. This is insane. No, you caused this. You created it. And the motor it's attacking is your trolling motor, moron. All you got to do is flip it up out of the water. No, what do? They leave it down in the water because we got to get those likes on our video. We got to create this news content, because sharks, leave the sharks alone. Leave them alone. Leave the jets alone too, because they don't get along.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, it is pretty common though. I mean, sharks are attracted to electrical fields. So that's
When
why
you're
you
a
see
jet,
all
you're a
these
jet.
videos online on YouTube and stuff of sharks, biting down on the outboard motor and that kind of thing, because they use their sensory things in their noses.
So electric trolling motors should be outlawed, and they should just have gas-powered ones.
No, they just. I mean, it happens. It's not that big a deal, though. I mean, unless they injure your boat. But yeah, when they say the shark has attacked the boat, that's really not what's going on. I mean, they're drawn to the electrical field, and if they're in a feeding environment like Patrick just described, that's how they'll act. I mean, if you're scuba diving, Barry knows this, and you dive down with sharks, as we will see every now and then, or go to a place where they actually have a shark feed, and someone spears a fish.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they act totally different than when you just happen to encounter them, and there's no dead fish in the water there with you. They're like every other fish in the sea. But as soon as you spear a fish, and they go into competitive mode, they get very I don't want to say the word aggressive, but they get competitive for that fish, not just from other sharks, but everyone else in the water around them. They kind of view them as competition, so they'll jerk around and they have to move fast, otherwise they won't get their food. And if you happen to be in the way, that could be bad for you as a diver, let alone your boat. And if it senses some electrical field coming, from your trawling motor, chances are they might try to take that out, which is kind of what happens in these boating encounters. Would you agree, Barry?
Yeah, it's the same kind of crazy that happens on Black Friday at Walmart. When they first open in the morning.
Accurate.
Yeah.
It's
it is when they all come in from everywhere and they're knocking each other over.
Yeah, maybe. I guess I guess that's an
It
interesting
looks
analogy.
like that.
It's a different result. There's usually no blood involved.
What, at
not every
Walmart lately?
Yeah, what was the last time?
Yeah, well,
There's plenty of blood involved.
okay, you got me. You got me on that. On that disturbing note, we're gonna wrap it up. Till next time, remember, whether it's sail or motor,
Life is better as a boater.
Safe boating, everyone.
Barnacle-bitten swab.
World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.